How do I stay young? That's the age-old question. It seems that it's been a part of our society forever, virtually. But we've brought it to a new height in our generation. Of course, we know Mr. Brian Johnson. He wants to live forever, and he's on his way to attempting, through the transfusion of his son's blood and copious amounts of vitamins and monitoring and a certain type of lifestyle, he intends to live forever, and God bless him, truly. I think, why not, right? Everyone seems to want youth, but of course the old story is few people really laud the old, because in theory, the old should be able to give us the wisdom that can assist us throughout life and make us wise and make us better people. I doubt very much if you ask the average person if they wanted to stay young forever and yet they were mentally young as well. I think most people want to keep a healthy body and yet still gain the wisdom, but you can't inevitably have both because the body will age. It just will. Keep it healthy, do your exercise, cut out the smoking, the drinking, the drugs, late nights, sleep more, etc., but you still will age, for sure. One of the more twisted things that goes on at the moment in our society is the beauty pageant for the babies. Baby beauty pageant. These are kids, babies really, that are 6, 7 years old, and they're dressed up in a certain sense of the word like adults, like adult women. We've kind of sexualized, if you will, children. It's quite outrageous because I think on the one hand, we want to laud beauty, but on the other side, we want women to be liberated and equal with men. So which is it? You're taking these children and you're turning them into some kind of vision that most of us as parents, you would be horrified with. And yet it goes on, doesn't it? And even worse is the plastic surgery industry. My gosh. This is making a fortune. Actually, as an aside, I taught a plastic surgeon and he said to me, Leon, if you want for 100,000, I can make you 10 years younger. I said, Doctor, for $1 million, could you make me 30 years old? And he just laughed. So, of course, impossible. So I think plastic surgery for sure has its place. But if we go overboard, if we go crazy, what is the purpose? Because, of course, we all want health. If you go back into the Bible, somewhat, the traditional Judeo-Christian Bible, you come to Methuselah, of course. Now, he was the longest living individual. He lived for 969 years. Tremendous amount of time. And then we come, of course, to Adam, of Adam and Eve fame, and he lived for also about 950 years, something along this nature. Very long period of time, but then came our wickedness, supposedly, according to the Bible, and then the flood. Then after this, we didn't get a lot of time in relative to Methuselah. I think maybe Moses was 130 years old, etc. And then they come down to our age. So we're all looking for the fountain of youth. Some people say it's exercise. Some people say perhaps it's a potion. There's a man called Ponce de Leon. And he was actually the first Spanish explorer to North America. He went to Florida. Now, perhaps he was looking for the fountain of youth. One never knows for sure, right? But ultimately, he didn't find it, but we're still looking. We continue to look. So what is the real secret to staying young, to youth? Well, I think ultimately, it has to be that inner beauty. And how do I find my inner beauty? Well, I think we all know. We get out our notebook and we begin to talk to the self. Because the self is, of course, the teacher and the student. So in other words, I must teach myself and yet I must learn by the same token. And in this way, I will stay forever young. And I also think you need a plan. You need a goal on an ongoing basis. You have to be dynamic in your life. There's no question at all. Because if you can push on this way, then whether you perhaps disappear today or tomorrow or in 10 years' time, you're still living a dynamic life. And this is the most important of all, for sure. Live your life. Yes, you want to keep your body healthy, and yes, you want to enhance your beauty. Why not? But once again, like an old car, the body will change. So ultimately, we want to stay young. We want to find our fountain of youth, but that has to be inside our own soul, so to speak, doesn't it? And you know what they say. You know what they say. Inner beauty is beautiful. Critical thinking is great, and critical thinking is so necessary to help us achieve what we want to achieve relative to youth and our mind in life, of course. And you take care. God bless. Bye-bye.